Hello, beautiful girlies.
Hello, my darlings. Welcome to a new reading vlog. This makeup is definitely not what I'm going to wear out and about, but let me do what I usually do. I'm going to do the tarot card pull, and then I'm going to do my Kobo. So we'll start with the Kobo. We'll see what book is the oldest on my Kobo to have a read. The Haunted Vagina by Carlton Malik III. Oh, it's going to be the new weird book for this vlog. Haunted Vagina. Haunted Vagina. Okay, let's have a look at what this is about. It's got a 3.13. Oof. It is 100 pages sweet, so it's a shorty. It's difficult to love a woman whose vagina is a gateway to the world of the dead. Steve is madly in love with his eccentric girlfriend Stacy. Unfortunately, their sex life has been suffering as of late because Steve is worried about the odd noises that have been coming from Stacy's pubic region. She says that her vagina is haunted. She doesn't think it's a big deal. Steve, on the other hand, completely disagrees. When a living corpse climbs out of her during an awkward night of sex, Stacy learns that her vagina is actually a doorway to another world. She persuades Steve to climb inside of her to explore this strange new place. But once inside, Steve finds it difficult to return, especially once he meets an oddly attractive woman named Fig, who lives between the haunted world, between Stacy's legs. Okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, so for the tarot card pull, I got the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is a new to me author. Okay, sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet new to me author. What have I got? I don't have any books, physical books from the libraries at the moment. They're all nothing. They've got nothing, so I'm going to have to check out Libby. What's on Libby? What have I got on Libby? Oh, sorry, it's my dad. The market's going insane. We've already lost a lot of money. It's good days. I think, let me have a, I'm just looking, trying to find one that I don't know the author. Okay, this is a new author. Violet Thistlethwaite is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Krempholtz. This is a cozy fantasy romance with grumpy sunshine, small town magic, and heartwarming second chances. Okay, that is the pick for the tarot card prompt. I just got my copy of the Poet Empress by Shen Tao in. This is really interesting. This has actually got texture. It feels a bit almost sandpaper-ish. It's very matte. It's got these burnished gold edges, which are stunning. And it's got beautiful end pages and a printed cover. A poem of love, a spell to kill. Beautiful, beautiful. And then, oh, gorgeous. This is absolutely stunning. This is just sold at a bookstore. So I love that we're getting these fancy editions just at bookstores rather than having to order from like Illumicrate or Our Crate, etc. Save on that shipping, but very happy to have this 5-star book in my collection. But yes, I'll see you the next time I've got a book update. This just came in the mail, so I got this thanks to some donations from my beautiful, beautiful viewers. Look at these edges, guys. Aren't they absolutely stunning? So I will definitely be reading this. And the cover is this rose petal finish with spot gloss. So, so stoked. This is a honey vanilla London fog with maple whipped cream.
Hello, pretty lady. Hello, I love you.
Hello, lovelies. Let me update you on what I have consumed. So I actually went and saw Goat with the kids. So this is an animated movie about basketball players. They're all animals in this world. And you have a little goat, and his dream has always been to make it to the big leagues, but no small animal has ever made it to the big leagues until now. So it's just about believing in yourself and dreaming big. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was fine. I didn't love the animation style in this one, but the kids absolutely did love it. I was reading Honeysuckle by Bar Friedman Tal. This was one of my most anticipated reads for this year. This is a reimagining of Blurredwood, and it's giving the Honey Witch, Annie Bot, and Don't Let the Forest In. I did DNF it because at the end of the day, it's just a teenage boy who decides to make his own sex doll out of flowers, and it was grossing me out. The plant girl, the flower girl, doesn't have any agency. She can't go against her creator, and it was really disgusting. reading about this young boy who at first the flower girl was a companion, and then he touches her nipple, you know, and he's like, "Ooh, I like it. How about I give her some titties and a vagina so I can fuck her?" And I'm like, okay, I'm out. So yes, unfortunately DNF'd that one. I also DNF'd The Haunted Vagina. Look, I know it was a short book, but I just wasn't finding it funny and I wasn't really having a good time. So I thought, doesn't matter that it's short. I'm not enjoying it. Let's not read it. So I did DNF that too, but then I segued into a different vagina and I am now reading Vagina Obscura by Rachel E. Gross. And this is a myth-busting voyage into the female body that calls out how badly we've misunderstood it and fixes the narrative with like new research and science and a lot of wait, what moments. So I love the cover. It's so whimsical. It's adorbs. And yeah, this is the vagina book that I am now reading. I have also started reading my copy of The Faraway Inn by Sarah Beth Durst, which is gorgeous. And this is about a teenager who is stuck at her chaotic aunt's rundown inn, and she tries to fix it up with the help of a very cute son of the groundskeeper. And I believe that this inn will be magical and obviously affect her life in various ways. I did not realize this was YA when I purchased it, thanks to my viewers. I just thought it was in the same world as The Spell Shop, which I liked. Didn't like the second one I read in that series, but this was just so pretty that I was like, just gonna buy it so I can read it. And I didn't know that this was a YA. This is actually not part of the adult series, but it's okay. I still like YA sometimes. I've only read 12 pages, so early days yet. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's not too YA for me, so I can keep this. I only keep books that are minimum 4 stars, preferably I only keep 5 stars, but if they're very pretty, I make an exception. They can be as low as a 4 and I will keep it. Or if it's got sentimental value for whatever reason, like the very first physical arc I got. So that is going to be read as well. I might go to the library today, perhaps, to pick up some more books to read, because I would like more physical options in case this doesn't pan out, because I do like to read physical books during the daylight hours and just the Kobo at night in bed. Otherwise, I do have quite a few options on my e-reader from Libby, thanks to Libby, so I could go onto them as well. So I'll figure it out. Today I'm taking my kids to Westfield to go shopping. So we're going to go shopping. I'm also doing something for one of my screen to page vlogs, which you'll see later. And yeah, that's on the agenda for today. Hey babe. The final copy of that arc that I got. Very pretty. Okay, that looks kind of cool. I'm gonna see if my library's got it. I really want to read this, but I hate this cover. I like the other cover, so not to.
Oh, it has birds on it. I really like this one.
You like that one?
I really like that.
There's a quokka. Just hanging with my friends, having a party. Whoop, whoop. I prefer the goth side of the store. That's more my jam. And then Indy prefers this cottagecore style. Is that the pride flags? Yeah. I am obsessed with these shoes and also those red ones, but also these boots.
Remember, you told me to go to her house. She's like, "Oh, I'll just take these 3 packs." She spread out all the packs. She was like, "Let's cook this one first, and then all 3 of." I can't pick up the cloud.
I know.
It looks so shit on camera.
I know. I was trying to capture it, but I have some updates for you guys. So I am reading Vagina Obscura. I read the first chapter and it was about Princess Marie and her quest for a penetrative orgasm, and she was so desperate for it that she underwent a very experimental surgery in which she cut off her clit and reattached it closer to her vagina so that hopefully intercourse would cause her to orgasm. Unfortunately, she was not successful. There were some interesting facts too. At one point, the clitoris was named the sweetness of Venus, and I thought that is so freaking cute, and I wish that would have stuck. But yeah, mostly it's about how clueless all the male doctors were at the time, with a lot of them even completely denying the clit's existence. But I am enjoying the writing style. I don't know if this will be a book I read to completion, depends how much the topic of the badge continues to interest me. I'm expecting a lot of medical bias. Obviously, we all know that the women's bodies are not studied as much as men's bodies are, and it has historically been neglected. With women too, just pretty much the only thing that they focused on was their ability to reproduce. Women's pleasure was not something that was, wildly studied or cared about by the medical profession. But yes, I'm still continuing to read that. I also did read an itty bitty bookie, and that was Our King and His Court by Rich Larson, which I gave a 3.75. In this book, you have this book is set in a dystopian world that features drugged Day of the Dead courtesans and dinosaur bone thrones and cranial implants. And we have a very tough, loyal enforcer who works for this brutal kingpin, and it's set in Mexico. And he starts questioning everything when his monstrous boss's son gets kidnapped, and he learns something. He learns some information, and he's now got loyalty versus his conscience, and he's going to have to make a decision, and things get messy real fast. It was told in a non-linear narrative, which I was fine in this case with it. It was very dark, violent, and depressing. There was a lot about obviously twisted loyalty and morality conflicts, but this was absolutely giving to me. It was a mix of Desperado, Breaking Bad, and Mad Max. A lot of medical stuff, a lot of corpses, a lot of mutilation and gangbang and gang killings and the like. But like I said, set in this dystopian, bleak world that is still somehow run by Mexican cartels. So 3.75 for that itty bitty book. I still have The Faraway Inn by Sarah Beth Durst to read, but I am actually going to go into the library today and see what else has come in. So I've got some more options on hand in case Faraway Inn is too YA for me. I've got a whole slew of teenagers coming to hang at the house today for half the day. So I have to go and get some food to feed them, because teenagers be eating machines. And then tomorrow I'm taking my daughter and once again another gaggle of teenagers to the city for shopping. It's a lot. I'm kind of depleted after yesterday, but it's school holidays, so you got to soldier on, and I will see you. Okay, today's books. We've got A Concise Compendium of Wonder. In the year 3099, humans find themselves stranded on the moon and turn to their one remaining tree for wisdom. Sounds exciting. Then we've got Living in Color in Contemporary Interior Design. I really, oh my God, wait. Was that a fairy pink bedroom? Oh yeah. Okay, the other two books. I'm glad this came in physical because I wasn't really picking it up on the e-reader. And we've got this one again from the same company. And oh look, it's the artwork from Inamorata. It's just, yeah, filled with a lot of art, and art really soothes my soul. So, I love flowers and florals. So excited to see what this one's like. I think this will be a bit simplistic with the writing. Oh, it's the pansies from Alice in Wonderland. But yeah, also excited to flip through this one.
Morning cuddles. You're so cute. You're so cute. Hello.
Good afternoon, lovelies. I've got some updates for you. So I did finish reading Living in Color by Faden Press. I gave that a 3.75 overall. It was just photographs of different interiors in all the colors of the rainbow, including black, white, and neutrals. It was okay. There wasn't a lot in there that was to my style. I would say it was mostly sort of maximalist or a bit more traditional. There were a few minimalist ones in there, a few whimsical ones. But yeah, it was just, look, it was just a pleasant flip through. In the beginning, they do talk about color in general, wavelengths, its properties, how it's been used in regards to the human psyche and emotions and psychology. So it was a little bit of text in the beginning. But then I picked up Flower, Exploring the World in Bloom by Phaidon Press. This was a 5-star read for me. This was a mixture of flowers depicted in different types of art. So you have paintings and drawings, fashion, ceramics, sculptures, jewelry, television, just every single media you can think of where flowers have been depicted. There is an example of it, photography in here. I actually really enjoyed what they included text-wise. I'll just read one out to you. So if I could pick anything from this collection to have in my home, I think I would go for this Fabergé glass Bleeding Hearts. It's very, very cute. I'll just tell you, so it says the name of the company or the artist. So in this case, it's Fabergé. It is Bleeding Heart, circa 1900. It's made out of rock crystal, gold, nephrite, rhodonite, and quartzite. It has its dimensions and it's currently being held in the Royal Collection Trust in the UK. This beautifully accurate botanical study of a bleeding heart, made in gold and hard stone, is one of about 80 designed by the celebrated Russian jeweler Peter Carl Fabergé. An outstanding example, the bleeding heart blooms are hinged to the stem en tremblant, so they can gently swing in a breeze or when touched. Queen Mary loved this one-of-a-kind single-stem bleeding heart so much, she bought it in 1934. The purchase might have been motivated as much by the symbolism of the flower as by the delicacy of the object itself. Beneath their innocent beauty, the blooms of Bleeding Heart tell a tragic story of unrequited love. According to Japanese legend, the petals of Bleeding Heart faithfully resemble gifts that a prince gave in vain to a beautiful girl he loved. She barely glanced at the 2 pink bunnies, the outer petals, the exquisite earrings, or the pair of slippers, the inner petals. Too hurt to live, the prince stabbed himself in the heart with the dagger, the pistol. Only then did the girl suddenly become aware of the prince's devotion and cry, "I have done wrong. My own heart is broken too. I shall bleed for my prince forevermore." So as you can see, it talks about the artist. Sometimes it will talk more in depth about the particular artist. It'll talk about the materials used in this particular artwork, what inspired the art, what it means, maybe any mythology to do with the subject matter. And then at the end of the book, there are also descriptions of different flowers and plants and sort of the language of flowers. So I was obsessed with this. If I didn't take the Bleeding Hearts, I would probably take the Tiffany & Co. Silver Spoons. It's very practical. I'm a practical girly. But I do have a massive soft spot for the still life flowers painted by Dutch artists. I love all of them. So yeah, this was just food for the soul for me. I would love to own a copy so I can just randomly absorb. Oh look, it's the spoons. Randomly absorb some art for the day and read about the beautiful, beautiful flowers. And yeah, 5-star book. Wunderbar. Absolutely loved it. I did continue reading on with Vagina Obscura. We learnt more about the clit. We learnt about how some countries have customs that involve genital mutilation. We started learning about the peen. But guys, I am genitaliaed out. I was like, yeah, I can't read anymore. I read 100 pages. I thought, I feel done now. I just don't want to read about bits and bobs anymore. And I did know most of the things, especially to do with obviously anatomy and the more medical stuff. There were some other little fun tidbits that I didn't know, like I now have come away with the sweetness of Venus. So that alone made it worth reading. I think if you've never read about the female body before, this would be a good starting place. But yeah, for me, I reached an organic end. I thought, I feel content now with my voyage through anatomy. But like I said, it also talks about male anatomy as well. It's not just the ladies that get a mention. Just gonna have a quick look if there's anything else. Oh, The Faraway Inn by Sarah Beth Durst. So I did continue reading that. It wasn't 2YA, It felt too middle grade for me. It was reading very young. The main character was rather annoying. I know she's meant to be 16, but she felt like a really immature 16-year-old. The male love interest was as bland as white bread, and the aunt, I didn't love the way she first came across to her niece. I was like, that's a bit harsh, bruh. Like, you're being a bit of a cunt right now. It might be justified, but communicate in a gentler fashion. That would be great, especially to your own family. It just wasn't doing anything for me. It was very, very reminiscent of the Enchanted Greenhouse, so much. But yeah, I'm keeping that book. It's a gorgeous cover. I'm keeping it in case my children or my teenager or my tween decide one day they actually want to start reading books. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I thought I'll keep it on the shelf until they're grown up, and then I'll move it on. But yes, unfortunately, it just read far too young for me, and I wasn't interested in any of the characters or even the story itself. But I am heading into the city today, so I'm taking my daughter and her friends to the city. Indy's going to my mother's because she doesn't want to walk around the city for hours, and I understand. I understand. It's supposed to hail today though, so I might end up spending most of the city day inside the malls in the city instead of roaming the city streets, which is what I prefer to do. I did want to hit up some galleries. There's some art exhibitions on at the moment, but if it's pouring down rain, I'm just going to hunker down somewhere. I do want to take myself out for a fancy lunch. There's my favorite restaurant called Her. They have a bar, they have a rooftop, they have a dance floor area. They've got multiple levels, but on the ground level is their restaurant, and it's just reasonably priced. So I get a mini degustation for $40, which in Melbourne, that's good value to get multiple dishes for that amount. So I might just sit there and read. I might also pop into some bookstores. We'll see. I'm just I'm playing it by ear today. I'm trying not to be so controlling in my life. I'm leaving room for whimsy and magic and spontaneity and detours. Ooh, too much socializing. My voice is going. I will also probably pop into the city library. Stella prize list book there to be picked up, and there's another book which was on my most anticipated reads, so I'll show you a book haul for sure, but I'll see you once I finished my adventure in the city today. He's so cute. He's kind of cute.
And there's also one in a... I'm got big up. I spent all my money on
Okay, change of plans. My daughter's other friends bailed, so I'm now taking my daughter and her boyfriend out to a fancy lunch. Yep. One sec. Yum yum. Arancinis. We've got zucchini flowers.
that pasta looks so good.
That's what you're having for your main. Big line, guys. This is a hot cross bun, matcha.
So the hand
Okay, so this is the master bedroom. Oh my god. Oh look, it's meant to be, guys. Ooh, just don't mind me in my future home. Okay, I'm back from the city. I got spoiled milk by Avery Currency. Things didn't quite go to plan. It's okay. I ended up taking my daughter and her boyfriend out for a fancy lunch, and then we just came right home. The weather was not great today, so I'm glad it was cut short. But yes, I did pick this up, one of my anticipated reads. So this is set in 1928. It's at a school for girls, and one of them is killed in her best friend's death. She doesn't believe it's an accident, so she's trying to uncover what really happened. I like both covers. I'm not sure which one I like more, to be honest. I'd have to see the other one in person too, but I think they're both stunning. But I'll be going on to this. I've also started reading The House Will Feed, and so that is about, it's set during the potato famine in Ireland, and one of the survivors is chosen by a rich woman to pretend to be her deceased daughter so that the rich woman doesn't lose the estate. And so she's trying to assimilate and portray herself as a wealthy girl. In return, this woman has agreed to give her 5 acres of land and a cottage of her own and the chance to get her revenge on the people that caused, her family to starve and die. It has been quite full on. At the moment, there was a horrific scene where they saw a mother holding her dead child in a ditch, both of them naked. The child had obviously starved to death, and the mother was deciding to lay down with her child in the dirt and die shielding her. Yeah, the potato famines were not a good time. I do have a great-grandfather who came from Ireland, Dublin, so it's something I did learn about through family history, but pretty fucked up. So I think something's wrong with the house. She's not allowed to go into the attic, and the staff keep, doing this sort of thing. So we'll see where the horror element comes into play, but I do like the main character. She is a survivor, and she's got grit, and she's no pushover. She's no one to be trifled with. So she sees the opportunity to better her life, and she takes it. But I don't think she's the sort of person that will have let someone else pull the wool over her eyes, so to speak. So I'm enjoying it so far. So I'm reading that, and I will read this too. This is a hojicha coffee panna cotta pudding thing. Oh, I love the wattle bird. I'm gonna make sure this tree stays because lots of birds eat the nectar from it. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. Look at him. Yeah, it's a wattle bird. Hello, lovelies. So I have an update for you. I read in full last night This House Will Feed by Maria Turiad, and I ended up giving this a 4.5 stars. So to remind you, it's a gothic horror that is set during the infamous potato famine of Ireland, and you have a former workhouse woman who is chosen to impersonate this rich woman's daughter so that they can keep the inheritance and the lands, and they can continue to provide for the village. So this village is very mysterious. It's always covered in fog and mist, but somehow everyone there has been untouched by this potato famine that has been decimating the poor people. And she ends up finding out the price. It has come at a cost. Let me just quickly read the blurb, because I believe perhaps that some of the main themes and elements and plot points of this book might not be in the synopsis, and I don't want to spoil you. But this was a very dark book. It was quite graphic in terms of the horrific deaths and also lengths that our main character had to go to survive full on. It made me feel sick. Let me just quickly read the synopsis here. Okay, it hasn't mentioned something else to do with Maggie. I had a feeling that it didn't. There's this whole major theme and certain thing lost to some women, and it's not mentioned, so I don't want to talk about it. But that was one of the things that hurt the most. The grief and the famine and just the trauma, full on, very heavy, very intense. There was a lot of obviously rage because what happened to Maggie didn't need to happen to Maggie and her family. They were caught in the crosshairs of the ire of a very wealthy person, which once again, I can't give away. There are a lot of hauntings in this, both literal, but also psychological. The big theme of vengeance. The Count of Monte Cristo was mentioned a couple of times. Vengeance and feeding your vengeance was predominant in this. Obviously to like female autonomy a little bit as well, financial security, but you know, and power and class dynamics. But there was something used in this. I don't know if you would call this a plot device or a miscommunication trope. I'm not sure what the correct terminology is, but essentially 2 characters in this, so 2 of them were given massive information. So the kind of information that is life-changing, shocking, awful, big information by other parties, and they just immediately accepted it as fact. They did not try to fact check. They did not go to the other parties that were involved in this information to confirm that said information was true. And to me, that just pisses me off. I'm like, in what world would you not be like, I need proof of that? In what world would you just go, oh, okay, since you random person has told me this, it must be true, and I will just act as if it is true without confirming or verifying it for myself. What do you mean? What do you mean? That would be like, say for instance, someone comes to your house and is like, hey, I'm your boyfriend's cousin and your boyfriend has broken up with you and doesn't want to see you or talk to you again. Peace. And you just go, okay, cool. Sure, random man that I don't really know. I believe you. This person that I've been in a serious relationship for years, or my fiance, not even boyfriend, my fiance, and I will just accept this third party breakup. No. Or if someone says, hey, your dad's dead, you just go, okay, he's dead. I haven't seen the body. I haven't seen the death certificate. I haven't called back home. I haven't gone to visit. I'm just going to go, yeah, okay, he must be dead. No proof of it. No proof, just someone's word. So that did have me drop the rating a little bit, but I did tear up at some points in this. Like I said, it was just really heartbreaking, and it just felt like all of these people that were starving were completely dehumanized by those who still had food and had money. And it's like, I can't imagine a situation here in a first world country where people would be on the streets naked, starving to death, and everyone would just go on about their day and ignore them and allow them to die in ditches. And it's not just like men and women, but children. And I feel like I need to read up more again about the potato famine, because like I said, I only heard about it as a child from my great grandfather. And I just, I'm like, how much of this was exaggerated and made more horrific for horror book purposes, and how much is realistic truth? Because if it was anything like this book, that's just, it boggles the mind that so many were left to starve to death. I actually think it was a lot of people that died. Let me just look it up right now. I think a lot of poor people did die because of this potato famine. So this book does have supernatural elements in it. So there is a paranormal horror aspect as well. The Great Famine, also known as the Great Hunger, was a period of mass starvation and disease from 1845 to 52. How many people died? How many died? The population dropped from 9 million to 6 million. 1 million died by starvation and diseases. Oh, okay. No. 2 million emigrated. I remember reading that too. They were getting on the boats to America. They were kind of calling them death boats. But 1 million in Ireland died from hunger. Jesus, almost like 10% of the population. Why didn't the British help during the Irish famine? Yeah. They said it was divine judgment because the Irish people were less civilized and lacked moral character. Yeah, okay, cool. That was mentioned quite a lot in it, that they viewed the British viewed the Irish as animals. Like, you're both white as well. Like, what the fuck? I don't, anyway, I gave it a 4.5 stars. So I thought it was a good gothic paranormal horror thriller, but like I said, please check trigger warnings for this one. In terms of the ending, I am satisfied. It felt a bit rushed towards the end, just everything happened quite suddenly, and I wanted to know more about the lady of the house that hired Maggie to pretend to be her daughter. I wish we'd learned a bit more about her. But yeah, Maggie was a good main character to read about, but she was stupid when it came to love. I was rolling my eyes, but sometimes smart women can make dumb choices when it comes to love, so I can't begrudge her that too much. But 4.5 stars. I thought it was just going to be a middle of the road, gothic thriller, but I was pleasantly surprised. So because I fulfilled my tarot card prompt, I'm going to do another one, and I'm changing how I do these up. So I went through all of my prompts and I chose my 10 favorite prompts, and they tend to be ones that guide me to books that aren't already on my TBR. If books are already on my TBR, I will eventually get to them at some point, and I do want to read them and they're already on my radar. Whereas I do want to perhaps use this tarot card prompt as something to take me out of my comfort zone and to take me onto other paths that I wouldn't have trodden book-wise. And to see a lot of them are going to be very random ones that are not within my control either. So yeah, I've picked 10, and that way too, when I get through the 10, I'll go onto a different tarot deck. So you get to see art from different tarot decks as well. So we're going to start with the Moon card. So I've chosen Major Arcana only to represent the prompts, and the prompt that I've associated with this one is pick a book based on a perfume. So as you know, I mentioned previously that I did want to sneak some very mini perfume reviews in every now and again, because I have so many reviews on my phone of perfumes I've smelled. So I've just picked one randomly, and it is Dirty Grass by Heretic Parfum. This smells like lying in grass that's just been cut after getting hella sweaty dancing at a music festival. It's skin warm and air buzzing. It wasn't for me personally, so it's not one I would purchase, but I have decided to pick a book that has grass on the cover, since that was the main element of this perfume, and I have chosen Herculean by Grace Byron. A demon-haunted trans girl flees NYC burnout and supernatural stalking for an all-trans commune in the woods, only to find cult vibes, cryptic libraries, and something way worse waiting for her there. Turns out you can't outrun your demons. So I feel like this was a good cover match to Dirty Grass. So I will read that once it comes in. Once I've fulfilled that prompt, I will go on to another one. But yeah, I've chosen prompts that will make me search and find and hopefully locate a hidden gem, otherwise would have been buried and unearthed by me. So I will read that once it comes in. It's about a 2-week wait on Libby, but then I'll get my hands on it. I also, the physical book, Spoiled Milk. I've got Spoiled Milk, so I think I will go on to that next physically, and I'll see what else I've got on Libby. Ebook wise, I think I might cap these mood reading vlogs to 7 books, because now that I'm only doing these and then just the 1 book for screen to page, I feel like I can do 4 mood reading vlogs a month. I feel like that's doable for me at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. Today I have a jam-packed social day. I've had social events and kid stuff back to back for 4 days. So tomorrow I have scheduled a rest day. I'm doing pretty well, considering I thought by now I would have burnt out, but I'm holding strong because I'm actually sleeping well. I'd like touch wood. I don't know what happened. Like I said, this mushroom trip was just completely transforming and the most powerful to date. But I have suffered with insomnia since the age of 14. I have done every drug, both prescription and not available. I have tried everything. I did go and get sleep studied as well. And I just have what they term as spontaneous arousal. That is my children's father. He's here 10 minutes early. Yes, but as I was saying, yes, I just spontaneously wake up. I have a long time, take a long time to fall asleep, all that sort of stuff. But since doing the shrooms, 5 days out of 7, I'm getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Life-changing. Who knew that getting proper sleep could have a ricochet impact on your life and just make life easier and make you feel better? I'm hoping it lasts. Fingers crossed. But I'm going out with my best friend Kim for brunch, and I'm going to get going because it's chaos here now. I'll see you later. I'm going home soon, so that's how I'm able to. Oh, man, I will never understand. I will never.
Oh, I think the last time I saw you, you hadn't seen.
Hello, lovelies. I'm not here to update you on any books. I had a wonderful, wonderful brunch with my bestie, and now I am taking my sister out for dinner to Fable, which is like a bar restaurant that is on the rooftops, I believe. So we're going to have some dinner, and then I'm taking her out to a comedy show at the Arts Centre. I think the comedian is Eloise Eftos, I believe. But yeah, we're going out, and I probably won't film when I get home, let's be real. I'll be tired and probably go straight to bed. But I'm taking you out on the town with me, and I'm feeling really good. I have had back-to-back social engagements and no issues, no flare-ups, no episodes, so still holding strong from the mushroom trip. I am scheduling myself a complete and utter rest day tomorrow. I am being mindful of filling my own cup, so I will rest before going out again, but I'm feeling fantastic and I'm coping really well with all of the normally energy draining activities. But I don't know, just because I think it's because I'm not sweating the small stuff. I have a very different mindset. I'm just taking everything slow and I'm chilling. I'm not getting upset about anything. If I'm late, I'm late. But as I said, I'm in a body at the moment which is sleeping well. My nervous system is regulated, and that makes a huge difference, not being in pain and resting. So I'll see you guys later. Chanel. I'm going to get to the Elixir of Life mocktail. I think it's because it's
The lighting's not so good.
What's that better?
Oh,
Okay,
let me
that's
squeeze it.
That's why it's a video. There you go. We twinned it. Yeah, I've
Yeah, baby.
Too much because.
What's the difference? What do you desire? What do you want? What do you truly desire?
And you might think that I'm a bit of a narcissist because I have a lot of self-love, being Australia's first attractive comedian, but I think it's just important because if you're a woman, it actually stops you from being manipulated and being a victim of coercive control.
just received this thanks to my viewers. It's got beautiful rainbow hollow background. It's got a bit of a raised embossed cover, and then we've got these end pages. I don't know if it's signed, I don't think so. And then this on the back. It's going to be a fishy romance, guys. Fishy. And it's also got a beautiful cover. So I love it when they print on the cover. Don't know if it's going to be for me. This is definitely a risk. A steamy mermaid romance. Well, wait a second. Are there two love interests? Or is it the same guy? I don't know. He's also got wings there. Maybe it's the same guy. But yeah, let's give this a go. My copy of Innamorata just came. She's gorgeous. She's also got a matte cover. Maybe this is a new trend now, this matte cover with the teeth on the edges. Is it all the way around? Yes, it wraps around. I will show you the back. Now let's have a look inside. Oh, thanks for the advertisement. Okay, so there's nothing on the dust jacket. It has a beautiful pink foiling though. So here we go. These are the inside pages on the front, like the two paintings I showed you previously. On the back, that's repeated, but then we've got this one. If anyone knows if this is also a replication of an original painting, let me know. But oh, so gorgeous, super stoked, beautiful. You're hearing so loudly. She's right on my chest now, right on my chest. Yes. Okay guys, I have a mystery package here. So Scribe, my lovely sugar mamas, have sent me a book. They've sent me 2 books before, one that I requested, one that I didn't. I'm so excited to see what I've been given. It's very exciting for me. So let's have a look what Scribe sent to me. I have no idea. What is this? Medea sang me a Corrido by Dalia de la Cara Cerda, author of Reservoir Bitches, translated by Julia Sanchez and Heather Cleary. Oh, this is exciting. It's a translated fiction, a punk revival of Medea as a Mexican anti-angel of birth and death. This is really exciting. I didn't even hear about this, and yeah, very excited to read this. Thanks, Scribe.
Paul Mall.
Okay, new beauty lip box. Let's see what's in it. What are you wearing next? Mecca perfume. Ooh. Joyphoria by Charlotte Tilbury. Hand cream. Yeah, let's need some hand cream. What's this? Lancome. Okay. Triple serum and Elemis resurfacing pad. Okay guys, massive book haul today. We've got A Fig for All the Devils by S.F. Fritz. I believed this is about someone who's given up on life, and then the Grim Reaper comes along and tries to train him, and he ends up getting a reason to live. So, sounded interesting. A Song of Legends Lost by M.H. Oh my god, this is the worst filming. I am so sorry. We were playing Monopoly. A Song of Rebellion, A Song of War, A Song of Legends Lost. We've got Nymph by Stephanie LaCava. Oh, I hate it when it's not in the back. It says a thriller examining violence through its subversion and a singular love story. The Keeper of Magical Things by Julie Long. I'm guessing this is a cozy fantasy, probably, yes. Westwood Women by Alice Martin. I don't like this cover at all. What Does It Mean to Be Free? The Department of the Vanishing by Joanna Bell. Before the Anthropocene, the air pulsed with birds' song, now a silence is falling. Imperfect Creatures by Joe Butler was a very cool cover. Claire returns home to Harrow, hits a man with her car, has a panic attack, goes to her father's funeral, searches for notes on his final book, and then goes back to Harrow. We've got Written on the Dark by Guy Gabriel Kay. I think this might be nominated for, what's it called? The Hugo Awards, so I grabbed it just in case it is. The Art Book by Faden. So as you remember, I read the other Faden books and loved them, so I wanted to see what else Faden Press had at the library. You could kill someone with that. The 20th Century Art Book by Faden Press. Much of the same. So I'll give these a read and a look. Oh my god, guys. Oh. And Living in Nature, once again, also by Faden, but this one, I fucking love interior design and architecture. It just makes me feel very calm. So that's my library haul. I almost forgot. I also got Schmooth for indie. So we'll see how this goes. Hello lovelies, it's been a while. I have much to update you on. I did fly a little too close to the sun, and I did end up crashing and burning. So all that socialization multiple days in the row did end up causing a flare up. That took me about 3 days to recover from, but otherwise I have been very well. This will be the last I talk about my psilocybin trip. So it's been just over 2.5 weeks now. I'll show you some biometric data. So the red is how I was functioning before. As you can see, a lot of my time was spent in the very high stress zone. So stress city, population, this bitch. And that is with stress reduction techniques. So I was having things like ashwagandha, doing deep breathing, cold exposure therapy, anything that does the vagus nerve. I was doing everything I could to counteract the high cortisol state I was in, and that still was the best that I could get. And now, as you can see, that's a lot of blue. So blue is restorative zone. So you've got stressed, engaged, relaxed, restored. So I am hitting that bottom peak. I am replenishing. There's only just the tip left in red, just the tip. And that is caused by socializing. So as you can see on Monday, no red. That's because I didn't have the kids. I stayed home and I didn't speak or see any human beings. No socialization. And there was no stress that day, even though I was trading the stock market. So it turns out, yeah, spending time with people I love drains my energy and stresses my body out. But for me, I feel like that is a worthy stress. If I'm going to be stressed, let it be with people who fill my love cup. No, that sounds weird. People who fill up my heart, make my heart feel full with love. So going forward, knowing that, yes, socialization does actually stress out my body, I might factor in buffer days. So one day socializing and then have a rest day, so on and so forth. So I'll figure out how to work with this so I can still try to reduce the stress. But as you can see, a huge change in the amount of time I spend in the stress zone over a week. That for sure will have positive physical benefits to me and my health and hopefully my chronic illnesses. Like I said, I am pretty good. Thursday was a high stress day because I caught up with my ex-husband's now ex-girlfriend. So yeah, they did end up breaking up 2 days after I made that slip of the tongue where I referred to her as his ex. He's a fool of a took. My kids and I, we're keeping her. So she came over to sling some tarot and catch up. And then I hosted a teenage sleepover, and God bless them, those girls wanted me to play Monopoly with them for 4 hours. So it was a high socialization day, but like I said, made some memories, caught up with people I care about, worth it. But I'm still going really well. Some of my pain has returned, but not a lot. And I've only had one flare up, and that was with a stretch of days that would have taken me out after the first day. So I have a lot more tolerance before having flare ups. So it's fantastic. Unfortunately, the 8 hours of sleep every night has dipped a bit, and I'm going to see if I can do anything to get that back, because my God, having 5 days a week where I was getting 8 hours of sleep, life-changing shit. But I'm doing really well. I'm still riding that high and that transformation. And like I said, it has benefited me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And it still continues to do so. So wunderbar. Now on to what I have been consuming in the time that I have not seen you. I have watched a lot of films. Let's start with those. So I watched Send Help, which is about a woman working for some bros who is very much underappreciated. She's doing all the grunt work and she has come up for a promotion and she's been denied. But they've got one deal currently on the table, so they're begrudgingly taking her with them so she can still do so she can still crunch the numbers and what have you. But then the plane crashes and only her and her boss survive. And it's it gets, real dark and slashy. But for me, I've given it a 3. As soon as the plane crashed and she saw that everybody was dead, her boss was grievously injured. If she didn't nurse him back to health, he would have died from his injuries. I would have just kept on walking. I know that's horrible, but he was going to fire her after this. And if he dies, she's the only survivor, she'll end up becoming the new VP of the company. So I'm like, just keep walking. You don't owe him anything. He was very nasty to her. Just leave him there. But no, she's a good person and she saves him multiple times. And he's an absolute asshole. He's not a good person. He does not care about her. He does awful things. And so every time she showed him kindness after that, I was like, oh my God, woman, stop. Obviously, eventually she goes batshit bananas crazy, but it could have stopped immediately and she didn't need to put herself through that. She's also obsessed with Survivor. That's how she has these Survivor skills. So I gave that a 3. We then have Mike and Nick and Alice, which is about 2 friends who are in the mafia, in organized crime, and they have to test their loyalty with each other when they're both in love with the same woman, and one of them comes back from the future to stop the other one from being killed. I gave it a 3.5. It's just a fun, silly action comedy time. Like, this is not a serious movie. I was in the mood for something like absolutely brainless that I could just, you know, watch. There were some interesting kills in how they murdered people, and I enjoyed it. There's also a cute little kitty named Kingpin, so 3.5. And then I picked up What a Way to Go. So this is an old Hollywood movie. It is about Louisa, who is a 4 times over widow who wants to donate the $200 million she has to the IRS. And already I'm like, girl, oh my God, if you're going to donate all of your money, don't give it to the government. They're not going to distribute that amongst the poor. All right, let's be for real right now. Go and give it to actual charities. Anyway, they think that she's crazy and sent her to a psych where she talks about how all of her 4 husbands died. So essentially, Louisa doesn't care about money. Her mother was very money hungry, and that turned her against it. She just wants a simple life. And so when the town millionaire was pursuing her, she's like, I don't want that shit. She goes for the brokest man she could find. Unfortunately, she has this, well, fortunately, however you look at it, she has this influence on them that ends up making them want to make more money. They become more successful financially through dating her, and it ends up leading to their demise and also her unhappiness with their marriage, because they, instead of focusing on her, they're now focusing on getting the cash. This is a great film in terms of fashion, especially. My God, the fashion looks in this fucking iconic. Shirley MacLaine, excellent. But why the fuck, this is a very common thing in the old school Hollywood movies, do they fucking pair her with men who are 20 years older? I swear to God, I did look up all the ages. Funnily enough, she actually ended up dating one of the guys who was 17 years older than her. And I'm like, okay, interesting. The guy that was closest to her age was Paul Newman, who was 10 years her senior. I thought they had more chemistry than the guy that she ended up dating. I think it was Robert Mitchum. But yeah, it did ick me out. I'm like, all these old men, why? Were there no leading Hollywood men who were, like I said, at least Paul Newman's age, like just 10 years older than her? Did they all have to be 20 years older? But it's a fun movie. It's one of the good old school ones. It's like kind of camp and quirky and cute, but the fashion, living for it, fucking gorgeous. Then we've got The Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person. I gave this a 4 stars. This is about a young vampire who has a problem. She just can't get her fangs hard around humans who are in pain. So she has a guilty conscience. She can't just go and kill people. However, she does need to drink, and her family stage an intervention and cut her off from their blood bag supply, forcing her to go and feed. She ends up finding a bit of a loophole for her, something that enables her to feed, and that is finding a person who wants to kill themselves. So that makes her feel better about it. They want to die, maybe I can help them do it. But she starts to catch feelings for her victim when she allows him one last final wish before she drains him dry. So I thought it was a sweet movie. It's very dark, obviously. It considers vampires is in dark visually, because vampires don't go out in the sunlight. But I gave it a 4 stars. This was a foreign film. I can't remember which country. And then I was watching Margot's Got Money Trouble. So this is based on the book. I did really love the book. I thought the book is fantastic. The show, I'm like this about. So I've watched, I think, 3 episodes so far. This is about a young mother who gets knocked up by her university professor. He wants nothing to do with her and the child. She's living with roommates. Her roommates move out. There's only one roommate that's left, and she needs to pay the bills. She can't work because her mother, who is not a great mother, won't babysit her child, and therefore she can't get a job. And then her dad rocks up, who's a former wrestler with addiction problems, and he's like, hey, I'll rent out the extra room to help, pay with the rent, but she still needs to make money. And she's looking at her milky titties and he's like, you know what, maybe OnlyFans could be an option. And yeah, she goes on OnlyFans, and then there's a lot of drama that stems for that, but it does have a comedic undercurrent to it. Okay, so for me, I think it's the casting. It just feels off. Because I read the book, obviously I had pictures in my head. Margot is played by, is it Elle Fanning? Or if I got the wrong sister. But I love this actress. She's really likable. I don't like her in this role. I don't know what it is, but I don't like her in the role. I would have gone for someone more like Emma Roberts. That's who I was thinking of in my head. And then we've got the mother, who's played by Michelle Pfeiffer, and she's fantastic and she's gorgeous. But she's just too, I don't know, she's too sophisticated. I know she played the mother in White Oleander, which was also a shit mum. She did fantastic in that. This time though, I was thinking someone more like Alison Janey as the mum. And then her dad was the biggest disconnect for me. So is it Nick Offerman? Anyway, he's a great actor, but he doesn't have the vibe of a former wrestler turned junkie. For me, someone who looks more like The Undertaker from WWE is who I had in mind. Gene Simmons, if you will. So I think because the actors just are jarring to what I had in my head, it's just not going as well. And also I don't understand the choice to make it into a TV series. I just don't think there was enough material to string it out. So it does feel very drawn out when nothing much happens in each episode. I think it would have worked better as a movie. I will still see it probably through because, like I said, I do love the book. But yeah, it's not as great as I was hoping. Maybe once she gets into the OnlyFans stuff, it'll start to be a bit more interesting. There's a cosplaying element involved too, which will be fun to see. You do see her titties a lot, but she has said that they are prosthetic titties because she's meant to be breastfeeding her son. So she's got prosthetic titties on. I'm surprised I didn't make them a lot bigger since they put fake tatas on and she's breastfeeding. I'm surprised I didn't give her real big milky jugs. But yeah, we'll see how we go. I'll continue on. Now, let's go to the books. So I did, speaking of sleeping with your teacher, I did read Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. I listened to this on audiobook. It was narrated by Jeanette. I don't think she did a great job. I don't know why, considering she's an actress too. This just felt so emotionless, the way she was narrating the book, so emotionless. So I think that probably audiobook is not the way to go for this. This is a very messy, icky coming of age about a 17-year-old girl who develops an intense crush on her very adult creative writing English teacher, and she aggressively pursues him and then spirals into this like obsession, identity, and the pussy aching need to be seen. Let's talk about this book. So obviously we've got hunger for validation as a main theme, hunger for romantic validation, intellectual, academic, emotional, and she's getting that from her teacher. She feels seen by him. She feels like an adult in his gaze. She likes who she is when he looks at her, and it's paired with like that whole, girlhood coming of age, the rage, the desire, the confusion that is coursing through your veins, and the illusion of being special to someone who is older. It's something that I think a lot of girls fall prey to, getting crushes on, especially, I guess, older men, and how wrong that is in terms of the power dynamics. It's fucked up, especially too, because he's her teacher. But, like mother, like daughter in this book, she's following in her mother's footsteps, a mother who has it's not a sex addiction, it's like a romantic love addiction. Yeah, she does pursue her teacher hard. Does that excuse him caving? No. He's a grown man. He could still say no. It doesn't matter how hard she's trying to seduce him. You need to stop that shit. And he doesn't, obviously, because he's a man with a dick who is turned on by his teenage student. So this book definitely is written to be shocking. You can tell there were some scenes that are very manufactured to be like, oh, look how risque this book is. Like, that are just not realistic. I just don't think many 17-year-old girls would go and masturbate in a public bathroom with chili cheese fingers. There's also a scene involving a dick slap to the face, but the dick is coated in certain female bodily fluids during a certain time of the month. And I'm just like, yeah, this feels like it's just been put in to be shocking. I don't buy that this 17-year-old is into it. But like I said, she was read so deadpan, almost in an April Ludgate type of way, but like I didn't buy then the obsession and the passion and the intensity, because she was just so. And then he put his penis inside me and it felt really good, and I was so wet and I was creaming my panties. It was just like a disconnect to me. So like I said, I think that affected my reading experience. I gave it a 3.25. It is what it is. It is a shocking tale of statutory rape, because it is that. She cannot consent to having sex with her teacher when she's underage, and it's gross. But I wanted to read it because it was getting so much attention in terms of people either hated it, or absolutely loved it, and I wanted to see where I lay on that scale. It turns out I'm in the middle. I'm like ambivalent about it. I don't know. It was whatever. Yeah. So yeah, 3.25 for half his age. Then we've got Medea sang me a Corrido by Dalia de la Cerda. This comes out on June 2nd. So this is an ARC. I received a physical ARC from Scribe. So thank you very much, Scribe. This is about if Medea, the Greek goddess, ditched Greece and showed up in cartel era Aztlan, and became this very chaotic sort of death birth doula, helping women survive a very brutal, violent world. This is very heavily about state/cartel violence as an everyday reality. Obviously there was a cultural disconnect for me. I don't live in a world like that, but I understand that this is not even an exaggerated reality of what people who live in these areas have to face on a daily basis and what they have to do to survive. So it was about survival and also morality, in that like there's no real clean choices here. Everybody is guilty. Well, there's a line, we are all guilty, we are all innocent. So it is very much trying to cut through the moral stance and tell you that it's not just about the cartel members or the state who are committing these crimes. Everybody is participating in these systems that are soaked in violence and, you know, consuming products that are stained with blood. But then also I feel like, well, the civilians kind of have to. It's like participate and toe the line and do what you need to, or be killed, right? Or be killed. Obviously, it's got the myth dragged in to it. So Medea was the Greek Medea. The way she speaks and acts, though, is a little strange. So this is a translated fiction, and it is a set of interconnected short stories. So they do all link up. And yeah, read all the trigger warnings. A lot of them involve women getting abortions for different reasons, and Medea is helping them with that. The language, it was very colloquial and casual. So in the first one, the book kept addressing to like, girl, it was crazy, it was strict, it was messed up, girl. And then I can't remember the other ones, but it was very like colloquial, simple language. Obviously I had to look up a lot of terms I didn't know, like Corrido is a sort of folklore song, and there's other words like barrio. There was all these words that you did have to look up and learn so you could understand what they were referencing. It was a really bleak book, I will say that. So I've given it a 3.5. I don't do well with heavy violent stuff set in a contemporary setting. I can digest it when it's in a fantasy book, when it's in a horror book. I tend to steer away from lit fic books that contain real world violence because it makes the soul a bit heavy, you know. Obviously I am grateful that I was born where I was born, and I don't have to deal with this corruption and, like I said, violence and the high rates of femicide that people there have to deal with. And you can't even like make an honest living because the cartels will come knocking on your door wanting a cut for their protection, you know. So it's full on, but 3.5. Then I read Living in Nature by Faden Press. So this is a contemporary architecture book that shows houses that have been designed to sort of coexist with nature, and they've grouped them according to the elements, so earth, fire, wind, and water. I thought it was okay. I didn't particularly love a lot of the designs in this. They just weren't my thing. And yeah, it was fine. I've given it a 3.25. Then I picked up the 20th Century Art book by Faden Press. So this one features 500 20th century artists, and each one is represented by a full page color image with descriptive text. It does cover diverse styles. I did find this interesting. I would look at the artwork think about my first impressions and interpretations, and then I would read the artist's meaning. I was surprised to see a lot of the time, sometimes it did not align. Most of the art is what I would call conceptual. So I think there was one there which is literally just a dude who painted a wall white, and he doesn't have meaning behind his art. It's just about the act of painting. And I'm like, okay, how much are you selling this piece of painted wood for, bro? Just white. He just paints white most of the time. So yeah, it's not really to my tastes. The artists were ordered in A to Z, so alphabetical order. I did see some artworks that I was familiar with. A lot of these though were new to me. I'm just going to read, hello beautiful, I don't know, read you the first entry so you can get a vibe of this book. So I'll put a picture up here so you can see the art itself. Like I said, did not predict what the artist's intention was behind this piece. So this is called Acconcivito, Seedbed. At the back of the gallery, concealed beneath a ramp, lurks Acconci, who masturbates to fantasies about the viewer above. His thoughts are relayed via a speaker in the corner, simultaneously addressing and alienating the gallery visitor. The work speaks of pleasure, contact, and desire, and conversely of invisibility and failure, perhaps as a metaphor for artistic creation. Seedbed is one of the most infamous performance pieces of the 1970s. As a reaction against the mathematical precision of minimalist art of the 1960s, Acconci sought to fill his art with intensity and passion. He later devised methods of reaching a wider audience, such as his car roof racks which inflated to reveal huge penises. He assumed that an art which could be brought directly to the public and could not be sold would cause the collapse of the gallery system. Ironically, his brand of body art, where he used himself as a subject of his work, was superseded by the 1980s gallery boom. It's kind of gross, bro. Like, he's wanking off to people who are standing on top of him and he's letting them know what he's doing. But yes, pleasure and wonderful. But yeah, it was interesting. I gave it 4 stars. And I'm going to finish this reading vlog here. I think that's enough books, so let me sum them all up for you. I read Our King and His Court by Rich Larson, which I gave 3.75. Meteor Shower Raining Down Pain. Living in Colour by Fade and Press, which I rated 3.75. Roy G. Bivbra. Flowers by Fade and Press, which I rated 5 stars. You can learn a lot of things from the flowers. Then we've got This House Will Feed by Maria Triad, which I gave a 4.5. Fake It Till You Make It, and Deal with Something Ancient. Spoiled... Oh, I forgot. I'm interested in this here. I was reading Spoiled Milk by Avery Curran, which was an anticipated read. It was boring. It was boring. It was about the girls in the boarding house and one of them dies, and it involves paranormal element and it's sapphic. It wasn't doing anything for me. I was reading The Wicked Sea, which, oh my god, that edition was absolutely beautiful. However, the main character sucked ass. She was awful. So this was about mermaids versus murderous men. And there's different types of mermaids. Sirens can kill men with their voice. And we've got this siren mermaid who is part of a thieving crew. And she was awful. So they didn't want to take her on their latest heist because they're like, you always fuck it up. You jinx everything because you're unprepared and whatever. And she's like, no, I know, but this time, you know, you need me because I've got the key. And so she made them take her with them because she's got the key that they need to unlock this thing. So they go and they get through it and they get to the key. They're like, all right, unlock it. And she's like, so about that, I don't actually have the key. I'm like, bitch, are you serious? They die. They get killed. I'm like, you are the fucking worst. Why? What did you think was going to happen? You gave them no heads up, no warning. You're on a time crunch. You've got 7 minutes to get to this thing. You know you don't have the key, but you're telling them you have the key. Oh my god, she was awful. She was so cocky and she was just the fucking worst. So I couldn't do with that. And then I was reading Herculean by Grace Byron, and this was for the tarot card pick. This was just a lot of drama and drugs, and I wasn't into it. So those were DNF'd. Then we have Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy, which I gave a 3.25. Period dick slaps to the face. Medea sang me a corrido by Dalia de la Cerda. This I gave a 3.5. Medea. Still killing kids, but this time as an abortion doula. And then we have Living in Nature by Fade and Press, which I gave a 3.25. Elemental Architecture. And the last book was the 20th Century Art Book by Fade and Press, which I gave 4 stars. 'Twas interesting. those were all the books I read. If you could be any mythological creature, what would you be? I would want to be a fae. I always feel like I like how the fae are represented. Or do I want to be an elf? Like elf from The Lord of the Rings. I'll do that. Until next time, stay wild, star child.